Okay, hi and welcome. This is Canon. I'm Papa Sam and I'm here with Wannabee. Mama is actually not here tonight because she is
Out being social with real
being social
people.
friends.
But that doesn't mean that we can't end up hosting the podcast while she's gone. So what are the topics that we have, Papa?
We are going to talk about deconstruction of a badass, mother's role in fiction, what we learned and what new stuff we have watched and thoughts on it, like recommendations and reviews on it.
Right. So I came up with the deconstruction of a badass. How I at this moment I'm completely I don't remember, but I have actually been playing again, still been playing Tales of Symphonia, and I guess it just kind of reminded me of at least what I kind of found to be badass. And one of the characters that I personally is like one of my favorites in the game is named the dude's name's Kratos, and for me that's like the definition of a badass. He's all seriously minded, stoic, but most importantly, the dude is actually competent at what he's supposed to do, which he's a mercenary.
Right.
Uh, I'm trying to remember, like, do you remember any of the game at all, or any of the characters? Because I tend
Not
to forget.
really.
For me, I'm trying to figure out any shared of any things we would probably understand. Um, what about you? Like, what do you think actually does make a character a badass?
I would say that being able to talk shit and then back that shit up will make you a badass. Like Shishomaru goes around talking all this shit, and yet he's able to completely back that up. And like another badass, like is Kamina from Gurren Lagann, who talks all this great big shit, and yet he just backs it all up, and he's able to win the day all the time.
Hmm. Uh, oh boy. I'm trying to actually think of other characters that are like badasses, but right now my mind is just completely dead right now. Hmm.
Okay, I would say let me go pull up my FMA. FMA, okay, because there are so many badasses in FMA.
All right. Well, now that you had to actually say FMA, Izumi for me, I did pronounce her name right.
Izumi?
Yes, the brother's teacher.
Yeah.
I guess I always liked, now again because you reminded me. I always liked her simply because she always constantly just does all these things. Wow, using the word badass as a description for describing badass, but she has all this power and knowledge of alchemy, and yet whenever she like introduces herself, she introduces herself as a housewife first and
Right.
foremost, and anything else. Uh,
Okay, another badass would have to be, what is his name? What is his name? What is it's like right there on top of my tongue?
come, Pride.
So Alex Lewis Armstrong's sister.
Oh,
What is her name?
Olivia.
Olivia Armstrong. She is a major badass.
Wow. I actually like this trend. We're thinking of female badasses. well,
Yes, I mean there are a lot of male badasses, and I guess this can sort of tie into our discussion uh
mothers in
of
fiction.
mothers in media. But yeah, okay, so there is Olivia is a badass. Riza Haka is a complete and total badass.
Now I feel horrible because I didn't think of her at all. Like just instantaneously, even though again she is.
Yeah, like I'm looking at the list right now, so that's why I thought of her. 'Cause I like saw her name. I'm like, oh yeah, she's a total badass. I can't think of anybody else in FMA that is a badass. Have you read Reborn?
I have not. What's reborn?
Reborn is that show about this kid named Tsunenoshi Sawada, who one day gets told that he's going to be the 10th boss in this mafia gang called the Mongoli. So
Mm-hmm.
then he goes on all these little quests and has these arcs where he has to fight against this ultimate bad guy, these ultimate bad groups, and there's always seven of them exactly. And it's really, and I like it. My brother doesn't like it. He started watching it, he just did not like it. But anyway, I'm talking
Right.
about Born, and one of the characters from there that makes me think like total badass will be Reborn, Kaito Hitman Reborn, who is like this 2 year old baby looking guy, and
Mm-hmm.
he is a hitman, and he's just freaking awesome. And then another one would be Hibari Koya or
Mm-hmm.
Hibari. I keep on saying it in the Japanese way.
Well, we're not Japanese, so we're not actually expected to pronounce things 100% correctly.
Yeah, I know. Like I always like I just say things in the Japanese order, so I'm like automatically switching it over to the English order. So anyway, yeah, Habari Koya is a complete and total badass. He is also like he got voted so many times for Men I Like to Marry. Um, can you think of any more female badasses?
Mm. Oh my god, I feel honestly I need to punch myself right now. But then again, I guess it's because I'm avoiding Avatar because that again, as a children's show, has too many female badasses to be listing. Fucking Toph. And I shouldn't have said that. Nah, not Toph, but actually shouldn't have been swearing. But again, Toph, again, one of my favorite character from Avatar is the definition of, well, badass. And I guess the thing is because she's blind, but at the same time, even though she can technically see, but again, that's still even it's a legit weakness, but she's also able to use it to her advantage. So one of those kind of adversity kind of things adds. Are you still
I
there?
Top is a complete. Okay. Also, if we're gonna go top, you gotta do Azilla. No, that's not her name.
Azula.
Azula.
I should know. She's again one of my favorite characters as well.
Okay. Azula is a badass. Katara also counts. Her
Right.
character development. Okay, you have to admit that.
What I wouldn't disagree. I think actually one thing that is nice about at least all of the characters we listed is that it's not one certain set or just one type of person that can be a badass. It's more. I like to think it's more circumstantial. That's maybe not the right word, but it's usually if you're put into a situation and how you're able to handle a situation. Because there are times where you can, I guess, like one definition of badass is basically being able to be in a room full of people and then all the bodies hit the floor. But if you do it too well, then it's completely and utterly boring. So it just
Yeah.
seems like I guess I always kind of try to wonder like where's that thin line before for this is awesome to this is boring.
I don't know. It like if you do too much, like if you have no faults at all and you're just a complete generic badass, like that is your trope, and you were just walking around with your trench coat of doom, and you got huge ass badass sword, and you're just walking around with your anime hair and your pointy shades, then yeah, I'm gonna get pretty bored by you pretty fast.
Uh, I was thinking Matrix.
Oh my gosh, Matrix, yes. I've never watched that actually.
Yeah, but I just think of Black Transcripts. I think of Matrix. But uh, don't think of anything like else.
Okay, so I have a badass for you that you probably wouldn't expect. I'm going to show you her picture.
Ooh, okay,
Her name is Elizabeth Midford, and she is from Black Butler.
okay, okay. Let's get this up in the window. Okay, what type of wiki? Okay. Of course. Okay, to be fair, in anime, if your character does look effeminate or whatever, it's not really indicating of what they actually are. So it's subversive in a way. But let's see. Daughter of this young sister.
Yes, okay. So anyway, she's a complete total badass, and I loved her. And like after this one chapter of her, like in the series, I just completely fell in love with her. And before, I could not stand her. Like, have you ever just had a character that you just sat there and you hated with a passion because they were just so annoying?
Uh, well, I do. It's from the. It's like again, it's still more Tales stuff, and
Is this the
again,
girl that you're trying not to get paired with?
oh no 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 no! It's not her. It's the dude that I paired off with. Um, I'm gonna just say it. Zelos. I try to understand the backstory for the character, and I guess I understand the appeal. It wasn't enough for me to turncoat 100%. But basically, the character that just is annoying because I may as well continue this derail right now is that he's a character who basically has no positive qualities, and or any qualities that are supposed to be humorous, they come off as grating, and it's one of those things where they don't even have to do anything wrong, and you just want to say, you just want to yell, "Shut up, so and so," cuss word. I'm sure you can fill in the blank there.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
go
any
on.
other badasses? Okay, no, let's talk about what makes us like a badass. What makes a badass?
Oh right, especially from because again I don't remember. I never watched Gurren God. I can't pronounce. What is the show called? Gurren
It's called
Lagann.
Gurren.
Gurren Lagann. Right. Yeah. When you were mentioning, and again, I only know him as the dude with the sunglasses. Yes, like you were talking about him. Like, what was the element that made you like that character?
Okay, so like Kamina walks around with all this. Just, he walks around and talks a lot of stuff. Like you just want somebody to punch him in the face because he's just walking around saying, "I'm going to be the drill that pierces heaven, and I'm going to be the one that does this." But then he actually goes out and he actually makes stuff happen. He actually goes out and makes things happen, and he can inspire people to follow him, which is another trait of badass.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to inspire people to follow you, and he is just really awesome. Okay, and then like there's Shishomaru, which is another example of badass. And he walks around with that sword. He's so cocky, and he just doesn't. He's just a complete cold aloof bastard. Have you ever just looked at Shishomaru? You just want somebody to put him in his place, right?
What? He's stoic.
Yes, he's stoic. That is also one of my. That's not like a necessary trait of a badass, but it is a way to tell if somebody's a badass or not.
Right. I'm getting the feeling that again, badass, at least badass rule number one, makes it's like you don't necessarily have to talk big game. It kind of helps, but if you do, you have to be your confidence level has to be through the freaking roof.
Yes, you have to. No, no, no. See, and that's also what I like about Simone from the same show, Gurren Lagann. He is
Mm-hmm.
a badass too, but he doesn't really have the big much of a confidence at first, and he earns his confidence like over the course of the series and becomes a badass. And that's what I like about people that like are like self-made badasses, where they become badasses and they're not badasses from the start.
Ah, but again, that's the character. Hold on. So I'm just wondering: is it that the character has the gumption and I guess the drive to continue to do better that makes them the badass, or is it the end product from their development that makes them the badass, or is it a mixed max of the two?
It's probably a big mix of the two.
Hmm, that's interesting. Trying to narrow it down, and I actually can't really.
But yeah, those are some of the traits of badasses that I like.
Hmm.
What else is a badass? Oh, then Riza. Let's talk about Riza because she's a complete female badass, and then Azumi too is also a badass that I like.
Is this
Well, we already talked about Azumi and what you liked about her.
right?
Hawkeye is a complete badass because she's very loyal to her cause. Like she's very loyal, and that's what I like about badasses that they can be some of the most loyal people you'll ever meet in your life.
Hmm.
Like, have you noticed that?
Well, I'm thinking, yeah.
They're like loyal to their minions, or loyal to their underlings, or loyal to their friends. They're loyal to a cause.
Actually, I'm thinking if if I would probably be put to a wall, the thing that seems to be, I guess, appealing about badasses is that they it's like in them they're traits that you would want to have in yourself. You want to be
Right.
loyal, you want to stand up for a cause. If you have the power, you want to be able to do as much as you can. Then I guess because on the other hand, you don't want to be emotionally cold, but at the same time, sometimes you may need to be emotionally cold to actually get things done. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you are cold and distant to people. Because again, even characters that come off as emotionally cold, they still have other people who they care about. They just don't show it in like globs and globs of affection.
Yeah. They don't have to show like all this affection to be a badass. Like sometimes badasses like Elizabeth shows a lot of affection to her fiance Sil, who's the main character of the series.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what annoyed me about her at first, because I'm just like, you're just this useless character. Go away, go die or something. Which you really don't want to think about female characters or any character in general.
Right.
So I feel kind of ashamed for thinking that about her. But then she like showed me this whole entire new side of her, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're really cool. I'm sorry for ever doubting you.
Well,
But yeah,
actually, what is it that was it about the character that again did the
she was
180?
very. I guess it was she just didn't fit in with the whole entire theme of the show, which is wow. Okay. So what I didn't like about Elizabeth was that she was very preppy and cheerful all the time, and sunshine and rainbows and ponies and throwing parties and throwing and doing all this stupid shit that I was just like, oh my gosh, you're really annoying. She's just like she wasn't somebody that I would want to hang around with because she would just get on my nerves all the time. But then she went and she stood up for what she believed in, and she brought out some swords, and she kicked ass, and I'm like, oh my god, okay, so you just been pretending this whole entire time to be somebody that you're really not, so you could make your fiance smile and be happy. Okay, I can dig that.
So let's actually take a bit of a break then. I think we're all badass talked out.
Okay, we're gonna take a break now. We'll be right back.